What's going on, YouTube? Today I bring you my running backs, my top 10 running backs for the 2021 NFL season. I know this list is going to be pretty controversial, honestly. This is one of the harder ones to make, but I did eventually narrow it down to my top 10 with a few honorable mentions, and let's get into those honorable mentions. And starting off, James Robinson, he was very, very solid in his rookie year. I think he has a great, bright future in Duval County. He is going to be splitting reps with Travis Etienne, unless they do end up moving Travis Etienne to receiver, which would be a bit of a strange move, but that's been where he's been taking most of his reps. Overall, though, still a very solid rookie campaign. Antonio Gibson, I really, really like. I've liked him since coming out of college, and I thought he was a great fit with Washington. I think he'll be a great player for them as well. Again, as a rookie, he was very solid, so I think he has a bright future there in Washington. And then just missing the cut, is David Montgomery. It's really tough, and I think once people see number 10, they're definitely going to freak out a little bit and be, well, why isn't he number 10? It's because, he took more than almost like twice the reps, if not more than twice the reps of number 10 guy. Speaking of number 10, that's going to be Chris Carson. Almost 700 yards last year, about 5 yards per play, 5 touchdowns, 287 receiving yards, and 4 receiving touchdowns. A very talented running back. We don't have a 1-star running back on this top 10. He's starting it out with a 2-star, and like I said, at first glance, you might say, why isn't David Montgomery number 10? He had 1,000 yards, and he had, I think, 8 touchdowns. He also had twice the reps Chris Carson did. And if he would have stayed on pace, Chris Carson would have had a 1,400-yard, 10-touchdown season. So, I think Chris Carson definitely deserves this number 10 spot. And it's almost tougher for him because, obviously that Seahawks offensive line is not very good. But another part of it is that the Seahawks really do love to force feed the ball. So a lot of the times the defenses know that a run is coming. They know the offensive line is bad. And yet Chris Carson still picks up yards. So I think that's enough to earn him number 10 spot here. At number 9, we have Ezekiel Elliott. And boy, the Cowboy fans are going to come flocking to hate this video. They're moving to dislike it right as we speak. Listen, he didn't even put up 1,000 yards. Okay, now obviously he's still a good running back. He's the number 9 in the league, in my opinion. 4 yards per average, is good. It's not the best, but it's pretty good. 6 touchdowns, 388 receiving yards, 2 receiving touchdowns. He's not the old Zeke, guys. That old Zeke, he's gone. And I'm sorry, it sucks to say it. It was fun while it lasted, but Zeke is just not Zeke anymore. He still puts up great production, obviously, but I think his time's coming pretty soon. Tony Pollard has looked very, very good. And I think he is that future of the running back position there in Dallas. I see maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 more years left on Zeke's career before he really starts to decline. And I think that's going to put him down here at number 9 for me. And even if you really look at the stats, there were 10 or 8 running backs that were better in my opinion. So Zeke down here at number 9, I think I have a fair enough explanation for it. Hate it or not, I just don't think Zeke has much time left in the league, and he's kind of showing that because again, they force feed the ball to him a lot, and he does bounce off of guys, but he's just not the same anymore. Number 8, we're going to have Aaron Jones, 1,100 yards last season, 5.5 yards per play, 9 touchdowns, 355 reception yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns. Aaron Jones has been very solid for the Packers for quite some time now. Well, not quite some time, but he's been very solid for the last couple years. Aaron Jones is one of those guys where I feel he's either very slept on or very overrated. I don't feel like people ever have him like right in the middle, which is where I think he belongs. I don't think he's an elite running back, but I also don't think he's a trash running back like some people say. He is our first 3-star running back of the video, so I think he's a great running back. Aaron Jones, very solid running back, and he gets the job done for Green Bay. I definitely would have just moved on and not spent all that money on him if I was Green Bay, because I like A.J. Dillon. So I didn't really like that move, but I still think he'll put up solid production, and they're definitely going to be leaning on him a lot more with Jordan Love likely coming in to start for the Green Bay. So I have him down here at 8. Then at 7, Saquon Barkley, and these are his 2019 stats since he only took 19 snaps or 19 handoffs in 2020 because he tore his ACL, I believe. But in 2019, he did put up 1,000 yards, 4.5 yards per play, 6 touchdowns, 438 receiving yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns. When he was healthy, Saquon was electric. One of the best running backs in the league, and definitely has a bright future if the injuries stay away. Obviously tearing your ACL, especially as a running back, is a very, very scary injury. And we'll have to see if Saquon can overcome that, because before the injury, he was a very electric and very good player. He's really fun to watch, and I have him here at 7. He would be higher if not for the injury, but we'll have to see how he handles that right now. I think 7 is a very appropriate place for him as of right now, though. Number 6, we're going to have Josh Jacobs, who another running back that's been really solid in his first 2 years. Last year at 1,000 yards, below 4 yards per play, which is a little kind of what keeps him out of this top 5 for me, but he does definitely punch it in. 12 touchdowns, 238 receiving yards, but no receiving touchdowns. Josh Jacobs is a basher, though. He will run it up the middle and he will knock you out of the way if you're in his way. He is a bell horse back. He does not make those big breakaway plays, which again is what ultimately keeps him out of the top 5 here. But as a pure bell horse as a pure just working up the field, downfield runner, he's a very, very good running back, and I think he is going to make a really nice duo there with Kenyon Drake. I just would have much rather spent my attention elsewhere if I was the Raiders, but I think at 6, though, is appropriate, and he can be even higher by next year. So Josh Jacobs, really solid running back. Kicking off our top 5, we're going to have Christian McCaffrey, who, 2019 was obviously an amazing year for Christian McCaffrey. There was an argument to be made that he was the MVP that year. I mean, 1,400 rushing yards, 1,000 reception yards, 15 touchdowns and 4 receiving touchdowns, 5 yards per play. I mean, that's some incredible numbers, and he's our first 4-star running back here. He's down here at 5, though, because I'm a little concerned about his injuries. It's almost like he's starting to get a little injury prone. Obviously, he had the really bad injury that kept him out of most of last season. But then when it looked like he was healthy to come back, he suffered a couple other injuries, which kept him out for the entire season. So sort of similar to Saquon, he would be a lot higher, but the injuries are really concerning. As long as he stays healthy, he's arguably the best running back in the NFL and one of the best players, but it's really a matter of staying healthy. But Christian McCaffrey, a fantastic running back, and I have him here at number 5. Number 4 is going to be Alvin Kamara. In my opinion, the $2 store version of Christian McCaffrey. And I say that because Alvin Kamara, you should not make a dollar store comparison to him. He is much more than a dollar store player. He's a $2 store player. Not quite 1,000 yards, but he got close. But almost 800 receiving yards, 16 touchdowns, and 5 reception touchdowns. I mean, 21 touchdowns, 21 total touchdowns. Very impressive, and obviously, was just very solid. He had that one crazy game with like 5 touchdowns, 5 or 6. So, Alvin Kamara, very solid running back. Again, kind of like the $2 store of Christian McCaffrey. If McCaffrey's healthy, I'm definitely taking McCaffrey first, but Alvin Kamara is nothing to sleep on. And he's a very, very talented running back. I think there are 3 guys I would rather take over him right now, but again, at number 4, still a fantastic running back there for the Saints. Number 3 is going to be Nick Chubb, who hit 1,000 yards last season, 5.5 yards per play, 12 touchdowns, 150 receiving yards, and no reception touchdowns. He doesn't quite have some of the numbers as the other players, doesn't have the same scrimmage yards, puts up a fair amount of touchdowns, but not like some other guys. But he's here at number 3 because although he does have a very, very good offensive line, obviously, the man punches it like no one else. Well, except for one other guy. We know who that is. But besides that one other guy, Nick Chubb is the best run it up the middle back in the NFL. Again, just like Josh Jacobs, that amazing, just working guy, downfield runner, just so talented. Again, he doesn't necessarily have the protection, but he punches it in like no one else. And if he could he doesn't need to play in the receiving game because they have Kareem Hunt, obviously. And yes, I understand they have a very good offensive line, but regardless, he is a fantastic, strong, powerful runner, and I really like him here at number 3. Plus, I'm just a fan of power backs overall more, so maybe a bit of a bias of why he's over Kamara and McCaffrey. But moving on to our second to last player, Dalvin Cook at number 2. And let me tell you, by the way, that should be 4-star, not 3-star. I don't know why that says 3-star. He's a 4-star running back to me. I will admit, if you asked me 2 years ago if I thought Dalvin Cook was going to be a good running back in the league, I would have told you, no, I think he's a one-year wonder. I really, really thought that Dalvin Cook was going to be a one-year wonder for the Vikings, and I could not have been more wrong. Just last season, 1,500 yards, 5 yards per play, 16 touchdowns, 360 receiving yards, and a receiving touchdown. People look at Minnesota's offense a lot and will immediately go to their passing game, and obviously Cook makes an impact in the passing game as well, but their run game is actually really good, and you have to take a look at the line that Dalvin Cook has had to deal with there in Minnesota. It's not good. It much upgraded this year, and so I think he could have a monster year. And again, makes that impact in the passing game. I really like Dalvin Cook now, and I doubted him. I will admit I heavily doubted him at first, but I've really grown to like Dalvin Cook, and he's my number 2 running back in the league right now. But easily coming in here at number 1 for me is going to be Derrick Henry, one of my 5-star players in the NFL. Hit 2,000 yards last season. I believe he's only the 7th player in NFL history to rush for 2,000 yards in a single season. 5.5 yards per play, 17 touchdowns on the ground, and 114 receiving yards. Derrick Henry is an incredible running back, and I don't think that there's anyone else in the NFL like him. This guy he's strong, he's big, he's explosive. Derrick Henry is just dominant down to, I was going to say the D, but he's just a dominant player. And I mean, just watching him toss someone off him like a rag doll is just the funnest thing. Derrick Henry, I don't see anyone else ever challenging this number 1 running back role anytime soon, unless there's some sort of Todd Gurley-like fall off out of nowhere. Derrick Henry is easily the number 1 running back in the league for me, and just such a talented guy. One of the 5 best players in the NFL, in my opinion, and he comes in here at number 1. But that is my 2021 NFL running back rankings for next season. We're going to be doing wide receivers next, so if you guys want to see that, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see all you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.